This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. This meeting is an in-person meeting at the location listed above, which is 870 Colfax, Benton Harbor, Michigan. In addition, a live stream of this meeting is available at the following link. Questions may be submitted beforehand to liz.goodwin@bhas.org or presented in person during the public comment sections as indicated in the agenda. Board members may be contacted through the emails listed below. Requests for special assistance, including for persons with disabilities, may be sent to liz.goodwin@bhas.org. I call this meeting to order officially at 5:40 p.m. We will begin by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we're going to ask the Secretary Triplett, please call the roll.
President Robinson.
Present.
Vice President Bowen.
Here.
Secretary Triplett, President Treasurer Creighton.
Present.
Trustee Rocket Martin.
Present.
Trustee Doyle.
Present.
Trustee Gavin.
Present.
Madam President, we have a quorum.
All right, a quorum has been established. Next, we have approval of the agenda. We have a light agenda tonight, so we have a closed session under board business. That's the first item of business. Then we have the superintendent contract, board report B1. We have debt forgiveness resolution, which is resolution B2, and then the HR motion. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
President Robinson?
Yes.
I'm asking if we can move, because we're in closed session, if we can move the debt forgiveness resolution to the top, so that we can take care of that first, in case there are people waiting for that. And I know we'll be in closed session for quite a bit.
So you want to amend the agenda to move the debt forgiveness vote up?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you all, there hasn't been a motion to approve the agenda at this particular time, right? Trustee Gavin got out first. So
Was it a motion or was it a question? Point of clarity.
I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to move the debt forgiveness resolution at the top, right underneath board business.
Is there a second or support?
I second.
Okay, so the motion has been made by trustee Gavin and supported by, I'll take trustee Doyle. Questions, comments, or concerns?
I have a question.
You have the floor.
Or maybe a point of clarity. From my understanding, we were doing the closed session at the beginning because we do have legal officials here.
Correct.
And so we needed to get that done. And then I do have another question as it pertains to the agenda. It was my understanding that when it says superintendent contract, if that was going to be, is that a contract or is that a extension?
That's the extension.
Okay, perfect. So that was it. So is it true that we were trying to go ahead and get started so that we can go straight into closed session and then we can proceed with the agenda as printed?
Correct. So the reason that the closed session was put at the beginning of the meeting versus the ending is because we have two attorneys that are present that are on the clock and we're being charged for both. So in the room are Attorney Gardner and Attorney Springer. And
Right.
so I just wanted to, I hear you, trustee Gavin. I just wanted to give us an opportunity to enter that closed session quickly so that we can handle the business at hand, allow them to go and not increase the amount of expenses charged to the district for that particular reason. Trustee Gavin, and then we'll go to Bowens.
President Robinson, I don't expect a whole lot of debate on the resolution. I would hope that we're all in agreement with it. And it would only take us a few minutes. And at the same time, we probably have some people on Zoom who are waiting and would love to hear this exciting news on the front end, just in case they don't want to just sit here and wait for us in closed session. I think we're going to be in there for a while.
Trustee Bowens, or Vice President Bowens, my
Madam
apologies.
President, I do not understand the logic of changing the agenda for one item when we have to vote on two items. It doesn't make sense to change one item to avoid closed session when we have to come back out. We still got to vote on B1. It doesn't make sense to move B2 in the beginning and then come back out and vote on B1. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, so if there's no additional comments, I'll just ask that Secretary Triplett call the vote for the amendment to the agenda, and this is for approval of the agenda with moving the debt forgiveness resolution up.
Okay, so I guess, how do I record this? This is a different, completely different motion.
Well, it's an attempt to approve the agenda with the amendment. So you can probably just add an extra column
Okay, so
or add notes at the
okay, who
bottom.
made the motion?
The motion was made by trustee Gavin and supported, I believe I took you as support. You and Doyle came at the same time, but I called yours.
Well, I'll take mine back.
You'll take your support back?
I mean, yeah, if Ms. Doyle is trustee.
Oh, so we'll have it noted that Doyle supported. All right, Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote?
President Robinson,
No.
Vice President Owens,
No,
Secretary Triplett, no. Treasurer Creighton,
No.
trustee Rocket,
no.
trustee Doyle,
Yes.
trustee Gavin,
Yes.
motion failed.
All right, is
Madam
there,
President, I
you
would like
have
to
the
make a
floor.
motion that we approve the agenda as printed.
is there a second or support?
Second,
The motion has been made by Treasurer Creighton and supported by trustee Bowens. If there's no additional conversation, Secretary Triplett, can you call the vote?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowen,
yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
trustee Doyle,
No.
trustee Gavin,
No.
motion carried.
All right, next up on the agenda, we have review of board norms. The Board of Education norms for Benton Harbor area schools. We will treat each other with respect. We will listen to learn. We will refrain from side conversations. We will use our time wisely, starting and ending our meetings on time. We will challenge ideas, not people. We will ask questions when in doubt. There will be no surprises at the board table, and we will practice the 7 norms of collaboration. Those are pausing, paraphrasing, posing questions, putting ideas on the table, providing data, paying attention to self and others, and presuming positive intent. Next on the agenda is public comment on agenda items. Being that there's no one here currently with us, we'll proceed with the agenda. Next, we are at board business. Reminder that per protocol voted on as of 9/13/22, all comments will be limited to 2 minutes per trustee per topic. And our first item of business under board business is our closed session. To anyone that may be tuning in virtually, we're going to enter a closed session with our counsel. And then after we have finalized that closed session, we will come back out of closed session, return to open session, and then we have the remaining 3 agenda items that we have to handle business for. So at this particular time, I'm asking if there is a motion for the Board of Education to hold a closed session under policy 0167.2F pursuant to section 81H of the FOIA to consider the written legal opinion of the district's attorney, which is exempt from disclosure under section 13(1)G of the Freedom of Information Act.
So move.
Is there a second or support?
Second,
The motion has been made by Treasurer Creighton and supported by trustee Bowens. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Secretary Triplett?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowen,
yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
trustee Doyle,
Yes.
trustee Gavin,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, so the Board of Education will end open session and enter closed session at effective 5:49 PM. Turned from closed session. At this particular time, I would ask if there is a motion to end closed session and return to open session.
So moved.
So, support.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Treasurer Creighton. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none. Secretary Triplett?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowen,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
Trustee Rocket Martin, Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, we are returned to all open session at effective 7:37 PM. We are gonna proceed with business on the agenda. Next up is the superintendent contract. And so what you all have in front of you is staff report B1. And so I will present that because it's my recommendation and signed by myself. Subject interim superintendent contract date, September 27, 2023. Reason for board approval. The Board of Education shall exercise its executive power in part by the appointment of a superintendent who shall enforce the statutes of the state of Michigan, rules of the State Board of Education, and the policies of the board. Facts and analysis. The Benton Harbor Area Schools District is currently operating under the supervision of an interim superintendent, Dr. Kelvin Butts, who was appointed as superintendent pending contract negotiations on June 29, 2023. It is the board's responsibility to hire the most qualified person for the position of superintendent. Due to the board's need to maintain an interim superintendent of the district, it is necessary to extend the interim superintendent contract addendum through October 14th, 2023 to allow for continued negotiations. Policy reference 0132.1, selection of superintendent, as well as 1220, employment of the superintendent. Strategic plan reference Benton Harbor Area Schools will recruit, hire, develop, and retain the best staff to improve student outcomes. Recommended action at the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to extend the interim superintendent contract addendum through October 14th, 2023 to allow for continued negotiations. And prior to asking for support, I do want to give you guys an update. So as you're aware, the committee is myself, Treasurer Creighton, and Secretary Triplett. And our intent is to meet, I believe our date was Friday, meet this weekend to try to get things wrapped up so that we are able to present to the board a draft that we are recommending for Dr. Butts on our October 2nd, October 3rd work session meeting, and then have a vote formally take place at the official board business meeting on October the 10th, Liz?
Yes.
On October the 10th. And so we could have tried to rush things, get things finalized and bring it to you all, but I am not the type of person that's comfortable with you all making a vote on something that you haven't had an opportunity to read and digest. We've also had situations where 2 out of 3 committee members have recently lost or experienced life circumstances, and then Dr. Butts is also going to be having surgery upcoming. So there's quite a bit going on and us trying to get things squared away all at the same time. So that is why we came to the conclusion to extend for one last time. And then our absolute final determination and vote on that final last contract will take place in our October board meeting. So at this particular time, I would ask if there is a motion to approve staff report B1.
So moved.
Is there a second or support?
Second.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Trustee Gavin. Any additional questions, comments, or concerns? You have a comment? No, we're not calling you old. Trustee Gavin.
So, I guess what I would ask from the committee is, I appreciate that timeline. And it would be very helpful if we're kept in the loop. Whenever that contract is, whatever that recommended or suggested contract becomes available, that we embed an opportunity for the attorney's recommendation. We are clear on what is the difference between what he's asking, what we're offering, what are the ramifications in our budget to, there are certain things that I think it's important for us to be able to consider ahead of time, before we come before come here and say, make a vote. So if we can just know that as soon as possible, that would be very helpful.
Absolutely. And that is our intent. As you guys remember, we voted to appoint him June 29th. We did have a draft contract that we could have stayed in closed session and tried to work out with council and you know, burn the midnight oil to get that finalized at that particular time. But we did not, because I did not feel comfortable with us presenting the same day or a day before a contract for the board to approve. Another thing is that we want to ensure, which we've said before, that this contract is one that we truly are meeting in the middle with Dr. Bust's expectations and the board's efforts to be fiscally responsible and what it is that we're trying to do to protect the district, but also protect his interests as well. And so we will definitely ensure that you all are kept in the loop and given a copy of the draft before it's actually coming before a vote. So the goal is to have a draft available for the work session. As a reminder, we won't be taking any formal votes at the work session, but you will just have the information presented to you that we anticipate that we're gonna vote on at the actual formal meeting.
You said
Yes.
maybe I missed it. So there's
Work
a
session.
work,
So we have 2 meetings for October, remember? We wanted to try, we are testing out having a work session and then our regular board meeting.
is
So
that-
our standard board meeting is the second Tuesday of the month, which is October 10th. So we have a work session on October 3rd.
Going back to the old format.
Remember, there used
I
to be
thought they were
2.
2 weeks apart.
It was one.
They were
They were
back to
right,
back.
they were back to
Yep.
back.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were always back to back.
So essentially what you would do is on October 3rd, they would bring, I mean, it's gonna put the earnest on the district. And I know we've kind of gotten off topic with this particular discussion item, but just to clarify that, it's gonna create extra labor for the district because they're gonna have to get their information finalized to us sooner. But essentially, they're gonna present everything to us so that we have an opportunity to digest it, ask all our questions. The public will have an opportunity to know what it is that's being voted on, and then that following Tuesday, 7 days later, we come back for the formal vote.
Thank you.
All right, so if there's no other discussion, Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote for staff report B1?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, next on the agenda, we have the debt forgiveness resolution. And you all will have to forgive me because I was tardy the last time that you all had actually had this conversation about the resolution, so I wasn't present for those meetings, that meeting. So I am going to read what the resolution states, but if there's, Dr. Bus, did you have something you wanted to add? Right now, you're just prepping, okay.
Do we have this date to fill in the blank?
Which particular date is it?
It's a blank
Where is it?
on the yellow piece of paper, or you reading something else?
President Robinson, should I display the actual resolution?
Oh, that's just my statement.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm sorry, there's too many people talking to me at once. Liz, what was your question?
Would you like me to project the actual resolution as on the agenda?
Sure. Okay, so I'm gonna read resolution B2, which you all have already kind of discussed. A special meeting on the Board of Education of the district. The board was held in the Benton Harbor High School Library, 870 Colfax Avenue, within the boundaries of the district on the 27th day of September 2023 at 5:30 o'clock. The meeting was called to order by the president, et cetera. The following preamble and resolution were offered by member, so we'd indicate who made the
hear you.
motion and then who supported. Now therefore be it resolved that interim superintendent Kelvin Butts formally recommended that the district request forgiveness of its emergency loans. The district is saddled with over $12 million in debt arising from an emergency loan. And Dr. Butts, you have the estimated amount handy.
Yes, Madam President. The principal amount that is due is $10,305,000. The interest on that amount is $1,756,125.04 for a total of $12,061,125.04.
Can you repeat that last amount?
$12,061,125.04.
Okay. Most Michigan public school districts pay for their outstanding debt uses funds outside of their general fund. Typically, other school districts pay for their debt service using their debt retirement millage proceeds. Benton Harbor Area Schools has no debt retirement millage. Benton Harbor Area Schools serve the most economically disadvantaged students and families in the state. The district has consistently paid all of its emergency loans, state aid, anticipation notes, and other forms of debt. The Board of Education has successfully eliminated its general fund deficit and has a surplus. Forgiveness of the outstanding emergency loans will help the board continue to focus its resources on students. 7, all resolutions and parts of the resolution insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution be the same and are hereby rescinded. We would document who voted yes and voted no. And then, of course, Secretary Triplett signs, and then the undersigned duly qualified and acting Secretary of the Board of Education of Benton Harbor Area Schools, Berrien County, yada, 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 yada. So I know
Madam
that
President.
you all had a discussion about putting the signatures on. What I told Liz is that we would put a place for signatures for everyone once it's something that passes, because I didn't want there to be a blank if there was a person that voted no.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam President,
Yes.
I make a motion that we pass board resolution B2.
Second.
The motion has been made by Treasurer Creighton and supported by Trustee Doyle. Questions, comments, or concerns?
I think that I think
Secretary
it's,
Triplett.
I'm sorry, I think it's time. This has been very, very important to Trustee Gavin. It's a stance of solidarity. And, so we need to get it done. Either way, as a Board of Education, that's something that we do stand behind. We want them to do exactly what she's asking them to do. So I'm ready to move forward with this, Madam President.
All right, any additional comments from the board or Dr. Butts?
Madam President, I just want to say, if you all pass this resolution, I'll make sure that the amount is correct, from what we received from our finance department.
Thank you. Any other comments? Treasurer Creighton?
Oh, Ms. Gavin.
No, I yield.
Treasurer Creighton?
Okay, I was just going to say that if we could have this printed out for the work session for Tuesday, with the corrected amount in a line for everyone to sign, we could possibly sign it on Tuesday if it passes, and then we can move forward.
Okay. Trustee Gavin?
I want to thank the board for bringing this forward. And I just want to say that, what is possible if our school district is able to free up those funds and have, upwards of $600,000 a year in our general fund, to be able to do whatever that may be, whatever this board and superintendent decide, but the possibilities are endless. Possibly being able to help finance bringing our driver's education program back, helping our kids to get driver's licenses in the 10th grade, 10th or 11th grade. The police are out there, they're gonna drive anyway, and us being a conduit to freeing them up and having that opportunity to do that. I think that kids will come back for that alone. Being able to invest in CTE classes, possibly even having smaller class sizes or helping to pay the teachers. I don't know what exactly that would be, but the possibilities of being able to have that additional $500,000 to $600,000 a year that we've been paying to folks who didn't need it as badly as we did. I'm just really excited about what's possible as we show solidarity on this issue.
Thank you. And Trustee Rocket Martin or Vice President Bowens, did you have any comments?
You know what, and just what she said, it's too bad we didn't add some of those things on this resolution to show them what those additional funds would do for our district, but we can vote on it as it is. So, yeah.
Oh, that's a
Alright.
good idea.
Vice President Bowens, did you have a comment or input? Don't mean to put you on the spot. Trustee Doyle, did you make a comment already?
No, but I
Okay,
would like,
you have the floor.
yes, I just would like to thank the board to actually coming
Can't hear
together,
you.
We can't hear you.
coming together on this, because I do believe that extra funding would really benefit our kids. We can do more stuff, offer more things to them. And I think this is great. And I really appreciate you guys for coming together and doing this.
Thank you. I would like to add that Benton Harbor Area Schools has done its due diligence and efforts to get this ship turned around.
Yes.
However, there's an anchor that remains with us from times past that prevents us from moving forward. Multiple anchors. And I would say that this debt is one of them. And so it would be extremely beneficial to the district if the state and our officials did consider this request, because it would assist us in ensuring that we can move forward as effectively and efficiently and in a desirable fiscal manner moving forward. I'd also like to add that we have recently secured our chief financial officer. And so the district is in a good financial position with our office and our team in that office to be able to continue to responsibly manage the finances that we have. And although we are playing a potential game of poker with our superintendent for the negotiation of the contract, we have appointed a superintendent pending contract negotiations. So we're just trying to make sure that the money and the dollars make sense. And so we have our pieces of the puzzle together, essentially, is what I'm saying, for us to be able to move forward. And so we're just asking that the state consider this request in its budget. So if there's no other comments at this particular time, I'd ask that Secretary Triplett please call the vote.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowen,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes, Treasurer Creighton.
Yes.
Trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right.
All right, so now what you just heard was my comment, but there is an official statement to be read, so I shall read that now. The Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education has worked collaboratively with school officials to repay the outstanding $12,061,125.04 in emergency loan issued to the district. The district serves the most economically disadvantaged students and families in the state. Since 2020, the district has consistently paid all of its emergency loans, state aid anticipation notes, and other forms of debt. More importantly, the district successfully eliminated its general fund deficit. School officials have had several discussions with state officials to ascertain when the district's debt will be forgiven. On behalf of the Board of Education and the district, the board requests that the state of Michigan forgive the 12 million plus loan in the fall supplemental budget. The board encourages all students, staff members, and community members to provide any comments regarding the debt forgiveness to Superintendent Dr. Butts, so the concerns from the community can be shared with Representative Joy Andrews as he discusses this matter with other state officials. If State Representative Joy Andrews or other state officials need further assistance when discussions take place regarding forgiveness of the district's debt, please contact Superintendent Butts at 269-605-1000. Thank you.
Amen.
So when will this go out?
I'm pretty sure that Louise is online and will be asking me for a copy of this statement for the paper.
And is.
And text it to her.
Right. Okay, so then the last bit of business that we have is the human resource motion. And at this particular time, I'll entertain a motion from, I believe, Vice President Bowens.
Madam President, I would like to make a motion.
You have the floor.
The motion is recommended action pursuant to paragraph 18 of Mrs. Elizabeth Gale's employment contract. The Benton Harbor Area School Board of Education votes to terminate Ms. Gale's employment contract based on the written notice of charges provided to her as recommended by interim superintendent Dr. Kelvin Butts.
The motion has been made by
Second.
Vice President Bowen and supported by Trustee Doyle. If there's no questions, comments, or concerns, I'll ask the Secretary Triplett, please call the vote.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens,
Yes.
Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
Trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
Trustee Gavin.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot Secretary Triplett. Yes.
All right, motion passes. So thank you all for that. That is our, all of our business for this evening. We don't have anything under Dr. Butts. Next, you do have an opportunity for a comment, though.
Open public comment. You skipped.
I know, he was trying to interject. Go ahead.
Okay.
I just would like to take this moment to take a moment of silence for a recent loss that we had in our school district to one of our freshmen. If I could, please just take a minute for a moment of silence in remembrance of our student. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Dr. Butts. Next, we have open public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to make a public comment? Seeing none, we're going to proceed. Superintendent announcements and comments. Dr. Butts, anything additional you'd like to say today?
Not at tonight's meeting. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on to board member announcements and comments. Trustee Doyle.
I just grateful for the work that we done today as far as the debt forgiveness, and other things. I'm grateful to be here. And I'm happy that we'll be able to work together and do more for our students.
Thank you, Trustee Doyle. Trustee Gavin.
Thank you, President Robinson. I am, super excited about what's possible. Thank Ms. Kennard for coming, very faithful public figure who cares about what's going on in both the city and the school. So it's really great to see you here. I'm happy about the possibility of freeing up our budget and that money actually going to our students and our staff. I'm wearing I usually wear a dress or something, but I'm wearing a t-shirt today and it says fund schools, fund our future. And I'm happy that everybody was saying the things that they would like to do with the money, because that's what this project is about. It's a $1 billion bake sale, and it's saying that teachers and parents shouldn't have to keep fundraising, right, for our kids. Schools should be fully funded, and Michigan schools have been found to be one of the lowest funders of public education in the country. And so there is a demand for Michigan to actually put $4.5 billion back into the budget of our schools. So it's super exciting. If anyone wants to, send me an email with the things that they would like that $4.5 billion or that money to be spent on public schools, my son and I are going to Lansing on October 4th for a press conference to share that feedback. And so I would love it, I would love it if my colleagues would share those things and we can get that information to our Congress folks, or if you just do it on your own, I respect that as well. But I believe that the best is yet to come. We have our ups and downs, but as long as we, center our students, there's nothing that we cannot do for them together. Thank you.
Trustee Gavin, can you do me a favor? Those opportunities that you mentioned, because I know some of them must pay a bit more attention to what takes place politically than others. Can you keep us updated on those opportunities?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if I could just real quick, I just want to, thank, there was a student, Diaria Evans, that went to Lansing, and she was the photographer. We spoke to 3 of our representatives, 2 congresspeople and a senator. Trustee Doyle attended, Ms. Kennard, Mrs. Johnson came, and my son 7 came. And so it was just a really great experience. I think that our students and our people need to be more involved and go talk to our congresspeople, because they were great. It was a great experience for us.
Thank you.
Thank you
Trustee,
for that time.
you're welcome. Trustee Rocket Martin.
Just a quick reminder for you all to save the date, November 2nd, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock PM at Southwest Michigan College for the meeting with the Berrien County Association, the Cass County Association. So remember that date. Also, I want to say to Dr. Butts, thank you for your patience, for working with us as we negotiate your contract. So I appreciate your the fact that you're working and the with the fortitude and with the same stamina that you would work with if you had a contract. So I appreciate that and thank you.
He does have a contract. His superintendent contract.
A
is
final
not final.
contract.
Thank you.
Okay, your final contract. I appreciate that.
All right, next we have Treasurer Creighton.
Good evening again. I just want to thank everyone for all that they do. I happen to live, I think, within a mile of most of the schools. And I do ride BHAS. I don't know if it's considered stalking or not, but I do ride BHAS. I attend most activities that I'm able to attend. And no matter what people say, things aren't all bad. There are some great things happening in Benton Harbor area schools. We have some great students, we have some great parents, we have great staff. And I'm definitely glad to be a part of the change that I wish to see in my community. So I wanted to say that. I don't want to get into the name game. I just want to thank all of our staff from the top to the bottom for all that they do, to be encouraged. Parents, although we did, we didn't necessarily grow as much as we wanted to. We do have over 1,300 students and parents that has decided to make Benton Harbor area schools their school of choice. And so I want to say that I thank them. Being a treasurer, I am counting and watching the money. We do have a new CFO, but I keep them on their toes. I'm watching, I'm asking questions for all of us and our constituents. And so I want to leave you all with this scripture, 2 Corinthians 10:5. It says, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And I think one thing that we have to all agree on is that we can't get distracted by the distractions. A lot of times we want to take stuff personal, and even if it is personal, if you are a person of faith, then you know that all things work together for the good. And so sometimes when things don't go our way and we start, having tantrums or mantrums or whatever you might like to refer to it as, and little small disagreements, don't take it personal. Just know that it'll work together for your good. If your intentions are good, right? And if your motive is good. And so I believe that, I stand on that. And so let's continue to do the work and not get distracted by our distractions. Be encouraged. Let's keep the fight. And like Mr. Triplett like to say, stay on the wall. Sometimes this is the last thing. Sometimes we're all going through in different ways and we don't know. And sometimes we mask it. We've had some significant life changes that has happened to several people on this board and this board of 8, right? And so we are continuing to push and to move forward. So let's give grace, because we never know when we might need grace. I want to just give a special thanks to my colleague and mentor, Mr. Triplett, for just pressing and continuing to press, starting your days at 4 and ending your days at night, and just being super, Mr. Triplett, father figure, teacher, mentor, minister, board member, etc. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Vice President Bowens.
What about secretary?
Oh, Secretary Triplett. I was gonna call
Thank you,
after
Madam President. I'd like to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank all of you all for your words of kindness during my family's bereavement. My brother Joe Archibald passed, and I was, when I came in, I'm used to seeing him peek in that door. And so every day is something a little bit different. I am, and also I would like to publicly give my condolences to Trustee Creighton. Like she said, a lot of times you don't know what people are going through in the loss of her aunt, which we had homegoing celebration this past Saturday. This is an amazing Board of Education. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. There's we can all do better. We can all we bring a lot to the table. We're moving forward. But I guess that's basically all that I can say tonight. You know, thank you so much. Joe loved working for Ben Harbor area schools, and you all were so kind to him. You know, when he was sick and worked, you know, you were patient with him, and that will forever remain special to me in my heart. To Dr. Bullock, to Mr. G, to our superintendent. You know, I want to just tell you all thank you. You know, Joe would come in here and he came in here to stand up for Dr. Butts, and he came in here to stand up for Mr. Bullock. And he Renato, I need what you think about so and so. You can't, I can't tell you I'm on the board. You know, you do what you got to do, you know, what have you. He have his opinions, but he still would come and stand. And he was a tiger. This year, when he got sick, officially, like real sick, was his 50th year class reunion this year, from the class of 1973. And they brought him a shirt out. He was a tiger, a proud Ben Harbor Tiger. He loved Ben Harbor. He loved our kids. And I'm really going to miss my brother. So I'm going to do my best. I've been continuing to work. I don't want you all to think that I'm not available. His funeral will be Saturday, October the 7th at 10 a.m. is the viewing, and at 11 a.m. at the service at Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church, 1105 East Main Street, and the information will go out. So again, thank you for your prayer, and continue to pray for us. This is extremely difficult for our family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Secretary Triplett. Vice President Bowen.
Oh, good evening, board, and thank you. My thoughts and prayers go out to Secretary Triplett and Treasurer Creighton. You know, I've been kind of down because I haven't been able to call somebody and argue or give them a 1, 2, 3 hang up or cuss out or anything. So, you know, I've been feeling some type of way, but I said, let him get his family time. But when this morning I got a phone call and it was Secretary Triplett. So I'm gonna let you grieve, but next week we expect that phone call. You know, Booker T. Washington says it best. Excellence is to do a common thing in an uncommon way. You know, this past few days, I would call Treasurer Creighton and she would say, you ain't getting focused, stay focused, don't get distracted. She would pull me together when I wanted to go in another way, she would pull me together. And that's what it takes sometimes is teamwork. When you see somebody getting out of line, you pull them together. Now, you know, she might be a little rough sometimes, and you know, Adrian, you got to tread, but she got me together. And I'm like, you know something, thank you. You got me together. And you know, beyond all we're tigers. Yeah. And everybody wants to be the king of the jungle. But not everybody's elite. No, but everybody wants to be a king of the jungle. And we all have that fierce. And we're protective. And I understand that. I hope that we're being integral and truthful when we are putting things out in the public and on social media, because it can be damaging to the district and us as a whole. So I want us to be mindful of that. And that's it. God bless you all.
Now I'm rough.
Thank you, Vice President Bowens. The only thing that I will say today is similar to what I say every day. I appreciate each of you for your contributions to this board. I appreciate each of our staff. I am a proud president of this board and leader of the district. And so I am honored to serve on this board with you all, even in the moments where you test my patience. I appreciate everyone here. I just want to remind everyone to presuming positive intentions are not just the way that we interact with each other at the board table, but it is the way that we conduct our business as members of the Board of Education. And so I would ask that you keep your norms of collaboration in mind when you're interacting with each other in the public or various means or interacting with staff. And so as a reminder, presuming positive intentions means assuming that others' intentions are positive, promotes and facilitates meaningful dialogue and discussion and prevents unintentional put downs. Using positive intentions in speech is one manifestation of this norm. So I'd ask, similar to Vice President Bowens, just in our interactions with each other, posting on social media, that we presume positive intent, or maybe reach out to a person and ask them for the reason for their action versus us coming to our own understanding and moving accordingly with them. And I think that's just one of our reminders to continue to be able to work as a team together, because teamwork makes the dream work. And that is all I have this evening. So if there's nothing else, I'd ask that.
There's something else. He called me rough.
I'm sorry.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Thank you. Is there a second or support?
Support.
The motion has been made by Treasurer Creighton and supported by Trustee Bowens. There's no questions, comments, or concerns?
President Robinson?
Yes.
I just want to say that I agree that we should make sure that we're honest. And we should also make sure that we're communicating. And so if we leave people without responding, then those types of concerns get raised. So if we are communicating when our colleagues do reach out, then we'll get the best results.
Another thing that I will say in response to that
Call for the vote.
is that some of our colleagues have never done anything that was unethical or lacks integrity. And some of our colleagues have always moved in the best interest of the full board and have never attempted to put any board member in any situation where they had to make a vote that they may not have necessarily been comfortable with. Even if I had to side with the minority, I voted with the minority in order to protect them so that we don't take votes due to lack of comfortability at the table. And so I would just like those things to be kept in mind. Even in moments where communication doesn't take place. I've protected everyone at this table and ensure everyone has what they need to take a vote. Secretary Triplett, please call the vote for adjournment.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bowens,
Yes.
Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
Trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Doyle,
Yes.
Trustee Gavin,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett. Yeah. Oh my God. Motion carried.
All right, so our meeting is officially adjourned at 8:15 p.m. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad you. That was a